Hey everybody, what is going on? This is Anthony with the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel, and this is what I'm calling the midweek VR update. Yeah, so I just came up with that name about 5 seconds ago, and basically just, want to come up with a title for all of these different type of episodes. Really what I'm doing today, this is really basically a daily vlog for Wednesday. It is April 25th. This is episode 138 of the show, but, we don't do a daily vlog anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and call this the midweek VR update. Okay, so before we get into the show, just a quick update on what is going on with the channel, just so people are aware of kind of how videos are going to be coming to this channel and that sort of thing. Basically, what I want to say is I pretty much have two goals right now when it comes to this channel. Number one, I would like to deliver a video at least, I'd like to deliver 3 videos per week. So the first goal is deliver 3 videos per week, somehow, some way, deliver 3 videos. The other goal is I don't want to have 3 consecutive days with no video. So those are basically the 2 goals that I have right now for this channel, and anything beyond that is just gravy on top. But if I can deliver 3 videos per week and not have 3 consecutive days of nothing, if I can do that, then I feel like I'm delivering a decent little amount of content on a weekly basis. Obviously not what I was delivering before, but still pretty damn good in the grand scheme of things. A reason to stay subscribed, a reason to still check out these shows on a regular basis. So that's kind of the idea. That is kind of the theory right now. Obviously, I dropped a video on Sunday. That was that outdoor video. Didn't really have my angle correct on that. It was just kind of my head was way down there at the bottom of the screen. Didn't have that set up and had kind of an uninteresting background behind me. But there's going to be more experiments along those lines coming up in the future, but we'll just have to see how that works out. But I delivered that on Sunday, and then there was no video. That was Sunday evening, I believe. No video on Monday, no video on Tuesday, and today is Wednesday. This video is probably not going to be uploaded until pretty late this evening, but at least there won't be 3 consecutive days of nothing. That's kind of my thought process with this channel at this point in time. We definitely want to deliver we don't want to have 3 consecutive days of nothing. That's kind of the idea here. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the news that we have for today. And the leadoff story for today is Pimax. But before I get into the most newest Pimax update, the reason that we're talking about this, there was another Pimax story that was a little bit, I don't know if this was like a week ago, a week and a half ago, but the Pimax delay, another delay. And I have not covered this delay on this show here, nor on VR Roundtable. So I have not covered this at all. So I thought I would quickly kind of mention what is going on with Pimax before we get into the Pimax news. So basically, the last thing that we heard in regard to Pimax is they were trying to get their M1 unit ready, that this was going to be the unit that they would ship off to their beta testers, and beta testers would have this unit for a number of weeks. They would run it through its paces, and then that would take Pimax to the next stage. So the idea behind the M1 unit is that, for all intents and purposes, the M1 unit would basically be their first consumer version, and that this M1 unit would go out to these beta testers, and as long as there wasn't any really significant issues or significant problems, this would pretty much be consumer version number 1 for Pimax. But the M1 has been delayed, and so they were supposed to send out the M1 in April to these beta testers. That has not happened. And so basically the delay is this. They have retooled their lens system that they're using for this headset, and apparently they've actually gone through 3 different major changes to the lenses, And each time they decide to do this, it costs somewhere between 50 grand and 100 grand for them to completely retool the lens and do a redesign on the lens. But they've gone through 3 versions of this, and they say that it is necessary to do this because it will lead to, ultimately, it will lead to a better product in the end. And so basically, the M1 version has been delayed because they're redoing the lenses. Once they have the lenses integrated into this new M1 version, it will be sent to the beta testers. Assuming that there are no major issues with that, then this would become the consumer version 1. So everything's kind of been delayed, maybe 60 days, maybe 90 days. It's really going to depend on how quickly they can get this new version of the M1 to their beta testers, but everything has kind of been delayed. Okay, so let's get in. What is the actual news story? That is all old news. What is the latest news on Pimax? And the latest news is they have basically a new controller, and it is pretty much a Knuckles knockoff controller is what they're going to have for the consumer version 1 of this new Pimax headset. It is going to come with these Knuckles-like controllers. And so they're not using Valve's actual design for Knuckles, but it's pretty obvious that they have cribbed off of that design, and they've used a lot of what they've determined about this design to kind of make a Me Too version of Knuckles. And basically the key attribute here is it will have, I believe it will have the new sensors that are both backwards and forwards compatible. This Pimax headset, I believe, is gonna feature the new base station 2.0s. And so this controller will take advantage of that. And then it's basically kind of a Knuckles-like design. It straps around your palm, and then you kind of have the controller can kind of dangle so you can let go of it and you can grab it. It does have 5 capacitive sensors, so you naturally put your fingers in very specific spots. You take your fingers off of those spots, it's going to be aware of that. So it does feature some of the features that Knuckles is going to feature, but this isn't the actual legitimate Knuckles controller. So people need to be aware of that. Looks very similar. They've copied a lot of things of it, but doesn't have the exact features that the Knuckles controller does feature. But, you know, they have announced this, and this is a good thing. It's the one thing I'll say about it is at least they're trying. You know, you look at HTC on the other side, and we do have a HTC story coming up right after this. But HTC, they're still using basically the same wand design that they've had since April of 2016. And so I do give Pimax a little bit of credit for, you know, pushing the envelope, trying new things. In fact, I have a quote here from the company founder and chairman, Robin Wing. In a press release, they said this. I'll go ahead and read this quote here. When developing the new Pimax 8K controller, we listened closely to the needs of our global community to develop an innovative new controller that enables a more comfortable and immersive VR experience. As we continue to innovate, we look forward to collaborating closely with our community. And, you know, that's the one area where I will actually give Pimax some legitimate credit. They definitely have their ear to the ground. They are participating in various forums. They kind of want to know what the real deal VR gamers are interested in, and they're aware of that. And they know that VR gamers keep talking about, well, what about Knuckles? What about Knuckles? What about Knuckles? So they've tried to address that. They know that a lot of VR gamers want a thumbstick. Some of them want the trackpad, but some of them are adamant about a thumbstick, and they plan on having 2 different versions, a trackpad version, a thumbstick version. So they're trying to cover all their bases, and they're definitely listening to their community, and they do have their ear to the ground, and they're listening for feedback. So that is a very good thing as far as Pimax goes, but, you know, the delay is definitely a very big factor. Okay, so let's get to story number 2. I was just talking about HTC a minute ago, and I was talking about how HTC has done nothing with their wands. It's basically the same old design that we've seen for a long time now, but obviously there is some major HTC news that has come out recently. First and foremost, we have a brand new HTC Vive package that is available. You can go to Amazon.com and you can order this thing right away. And we're talking about $1,400. We're talking about $1,399.99 will get you a brand new HTC Vive Pro bundle. But what is the big deal with this bundle? We already knew about an $1,100 bundle. So what is this new $1,400 bundle? Well, it's Steam VR 2.0. You know, this is big news, guys. Steam VR 2.0, the Steam VR 2.0 era has basically officially began. With the sale of this bundle, this officially kicks off Steam VR 2.0. This new bundle features the brand new base stations. It also features blue Vive wands. Yes, they are blue. Oh my God. And these Vive wands obviously have the new sensors in them, so they are compatible with these new lighthouses. These are the new blue Vive wands. And most of what you're hearing in regards to this brand new HTC Vive Pro package, most of what you're hearing is you're hearing a lot of people moan and groan. And once again, this is a pricing thing. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, is HTC, have they lost their mind? Are they out of their mind? These people are crazy. What the hell are they doing? $1,399.99. These people are ludicrous. Well, basically, here's the deal, folks. I'm going to break it down for you real simple. If you take Economics 101, there is a thing called supply and demand. And basically, demand is at an extreme high. HTC can get away with this. This is what you call juicing your early adopters, juicing your biggest enthusiasts, juicing commercial people that want to hop on this new Steam VR 2.0, because let's face it, if you're going to start a brand new VR arcade, for example, let's say you're opening a VR arcade this June or something like that, you might as well start off with Steam VR 2.0. You might as well be future-proofed with the newest base stations so that new controllers come out, you're ready to go, all those kinds of things. So, you know, they've got a captive audience that is interested in ordering these products. They've got developers that are working on VR games that want the highest end system possible. They've got people by the barrel, basically, is what they have it. And the early adopters, there's enthusiasts, there's people out there that have money to burn. And HTC is like, hey, you've got money to burn. Well, here's an opportunity to really light it on fire. And that is what this $13.99 package is all about. This isn't for us. This isn't designed for us. This isn't designed for Joe and Sally Walmart. It's not even designed for Joe and Sally enthusiast gamer. This is designed for the well-heeled among us, people that have more money than sense. I mean, not really that, but you know, it's designed for people that got the money to roll. And that's what HTC is going for here. And the thing that I'll say to everybody that's crying about these prices is just chill, just relax, maybe play a little bit of Paper Valley and chill the hell out, because it is my opinion that within 4 to 5 months, these prices are going to come tumbling down. You know, the prices are going to start to dip. It's a supply and demand thing. So basically, demand is at an incredible high. These products will come out. The demand will be satiated. The people with more money than sense will be satiated. Those people will eventually dry up. HTC will notice, hey, we're not selling very many of these. You know, we had an explosion of sales initially. Sales have now fallen off a cliff, and that's when the price will react to that. So all things in good time, patience is a virtue. The big thing that we want to talk about here is, did anybody expect this early? I sure as hell didn't. If you go back to the CES and you go back to Dan O'Brien on stage at CES, he was talking about a complete package later this year. Now, when he talked about that, I was thinking October. I was thinking November. I didn't think we'd get a full package this quickly.
I need a credit card! Hey, what do you want? Pocket! Which pocket? My back pocket! You got 10 back pockets! Left cheek! Left cheek! Left cheek! I can't shoot! Can't shoot! Hey, pizza!
Also, sir, have you heard about our Premium Plus World Service Gold package?
No, I don't want a premium package!
This is actually mildly impressive that HTC has this full package this quickly. Now, the other question that you get to here is, what about Steam VR 2.0? Like, is this really a big deal? Does anybody really need to jump on this right away? I mean, I talked about the arcade VR market, and I think those people probably should jump on this. If you're starting a new VR arcade, you might as well start off with the newer design and the new base stations and that sort of thing. But what about your regular everyday Billy Bob that just wants to play some Steam VR games? Is there really a need to have Steam VR 2.0? And so the thing that you guys need to understand right now is, yes, eventually you will be able to add another 2 base stations of these new type, and you'll be able to have 4 of these things. And 4 of these things have the capability of tracking a 10 meter by 10 meter play space. So if you happen to own yourself a high school gymnasium or something where you can do this, then that is a great bonus. But we got to remember, individual base stations are not going to be available anytime soon. And even if you ordered 2 of these $1,400 packages to get yourself 4 base stations, you can't do anything with it because you gotta wait for a software update that has not been pushed through, and this software update is not going to be pushed through until sometime later this year. So these new Steam VR 2.0 base stations, they are going to be limited to 6 meters by 6 meters, which is only a little bit better than the existing lighthouses at 4 meters or 4.5 meters by 4.5 meters, or whatever technically it is for lighthouses version 1.0. So there's not a hell of a lot of things going on here. And then your blue wands, you know, they don't feature anything special. There's nothing special about them other than some blue paint and having the new sensors in there. So not a hell of a lot of reason to run out there right away and jump on this. Although it's great news that Vive Steam VR Tracking 2.0, that era has begun. So that is the good news here. You can actually get Steam VR Tracking 2.0. It is out there. Some people have already reported they've ordered one of these from Amazon. Amazon is saying that the shipping is 3 to 5 weeks, but one guy on Reddit, he ordered one of these packages and it's already shipped. He's supposedly getting it this Friday. So this era has begun. Okay, so let's go to story number 3. Story number 3, Leap Motion says that AR and VR is gonna have to make do with just sound and vision for now. So what is this about? So basically what we're talking about here is Leap Motion Vice President Kiichi Matsuda. This guy has been in the news quite frequently, actually, over the last several months. He's been tweeting a lot of various videos. At first, he was tweeting these videos with some unknown AR-related device that Leap Motion was working with, and there was initially some tremendous excitement here because we didn't know, is Leap Motion, are they working with Magic Leap? You know, what an interesting combination, Leap plus Leap. You know, are they working with Magic Leap? Are they working with Meta? Are they working with Avegant? Maybe they're working with HoloLens 2.0. Who knows? We didn't know. They were working with some unknown AR headset. Of course, we end up finding out that basically this unknown AR headset is actually Project North Star, which is Leap Motion's own internal design. They're basically trying to create this open platform that any hardware manufacturer can use, where they could make an AR-related headset based off this Project North Star design. So we've heard all about this. We've seen a lot of tweets. A lot of interesting videos have popped out that look super cool, but what we're talking about here is Kiichi Matsuda. He was talking about how when it comes to AR and VR, that we're basically going to be limited in the short term to just taking over two of the human senses. Basically, sight and sound is what is going to be taken over, and we're not really going to be getting into touch and smell and feel and all these other types of things. So I'll go ahead and read the quote that he has here, and here's what he had to say. For some experiences, total immersion is a clear goal. Simulations of physical experiences, gaming, etc. These all improve when we engage more senses. I believe that those cases will be niche and that AR and VR will have to make do with sound and vision for the foreseeable future. This general everyday mixed reality will be much more subtle but no less profound in its impact. Our physical world will be populated with virtual materials that can't be touched, smelt, or tasted, but nevertheless have their own behaviors and properties and exist as a legitimate part of our environments. Hold on a sec here. Just as the invention of glass transformed our built environment, making new architectures possible, these new virtual materials will again change the way that we design and use space. Okay, so I thought this quote was relatively interesting, and also there is a new video that they released where it kind of shows a augmented reality user interface that looks really cool. They're doing a lot of cool things here with this Project North Star. It will be very interesting to see if there are some third-party companies that decide to jump on this bandwagon. But, you know, Kiichi Matsuda, he's kind of looking at more of a long-term vision here, and he's saying, look, for now, guys, it's just going to be sight and sound that we're not going to get. Of course, they're saying that because there's no touch. You know, that's the big problem here. I think sight, sound, and touch, you know, I think you need to make it 3 of them. I think just seeing stuff and hearing stuff like that is huge, but we got to add touch to the equation. And so Leap Motion, they're in a situation where they can't add touch. Their whole game is based on putting your hands into the experience, but not actually putting anything on your hand. No kind of a glove or no kind of sensors, or nothing physical is going to be touching. It's just your hands. And that's the play that they're making. And it's a good play because when we get to the idea of friction, this idea of just throwing on a headset, it has Leap Motion built in. You don't have any controllers. It's just your hands. So if the headset is turned on and let's say it's a standalone headset, not a hell of a lot of friction there. You just put something on your head and bam, you are ready to go. I mean, that's kind of what Magic Leap is going for, and Santa Cruz and some of the stuff like that. Just put it on and go. And so Leap Motion, that's kind of what they want to do, is they want to put your hands in the experience, but there's no touch. And I feel like there has to be touch at some point. Maybe eventually what we could have is we could have some little things that we just put on a couple of our fingers, like maybe the thumb, the index, and this finger. Let's say just 3 fingers were to have 3 little things that you just popped onto it. And these things wirelessly connect via Bluetooth or whatever to the headset, and you get a little bit of tactile sensation. So you're grabbing a cube, you know, you feel a little sensation on your fingers when you're grabbing a cube. So I'm not sure that I agree here with Kiichi Matsuda in the fact that it's just going to be sight and sound. I understand where he's going with it. And in some ways, yeah, it is going to be limited to that. But I am hoping somehow, some way, we can bring touch into the fold and make touch a big part of it. Okay, let's get into story number 4. Story number 4, this is a quick one. A number of PlayStation VR games have got permanent price drops. This is also a relatively old story, but I just wanted to mention this. Drive Club VR has a new permanent price of $15. This is still a very good racing game, highly recommended. I mean, it is pixelated to the 12th degree. It does have that Vaseline look to it, but it's very fun, and it's $15, not a bad deal. The Impatient has dropped to $20. This is the new price for the Impatient. I actually didn't really know about this until looking at this, and I'm like, wow, this is probably the price. Well, I don't know that this is the price it should have been, but I think if the Impatient was 20 bucks, I think the reviews would have been completely different. I think you look at that experience in a completely different light at half the price. So the Impatient is now 20 bones. PlayStation VR Worlds, 15 bucks, easily one of the most underrated VR titles in all of virtual reality, period. PlayStation VR Worlds is a damn good game, people. Danger Ball is freaking really good. The London Heist is awesome. The Shark Cage experience is cool as well. There's a lot of good stuff here. PlayStation VR Worlds, 15 bucks, highly recommended. Riggs is 20 bucks. Starblood Arena is now down to 15 bucks. Until Dawn Rush of Blood, easily one of the 5 best PSVR games, period. 15 bucks, awesome game. And then of course, the best VR game available on any platform, anywhere, at any time. That's my own personal opinion, but Wipeout Omega Collection VR has now a permanent price of 20 bucks. The best VR game you can possibly buy, 20 bones. So just wanted to mention some of these permanent price drops for some real high-end PSVR stuff. That is good news. And then the last thing before I bounce out of here, I'm curious, this is kind of an off-topic thing right here, but I'm curious if there are any Sony employees, Microsoft employees, or Valve employees that happen to be subscribed to this channel and watch this show. And the reason why I'm asking this question is I actually need to ask Sony a question. I need to ask Microsoft a question, and I need to ask Valve a question. This is a personal side story thing. It's kind of VR arcade related. I'm actually very interested in VR arcades right now. That's kind of a side story there. But just on the off chance that a Sony employee happens to watch this channel regularly, or a Microsoft employee happens to watch this channel regularly, or a Valve employee happens to watch this channel regularly. I mean, the chances of that actually being legitimate, probably not very good, but who knows? Maybe there's one guy that happens to watch this show on a regular basis. I just have a question. You're probably not actually going to be able to answer this specific question, but you might be able to point me in the right direction. An email or a phone number I should call, somebody I should try to contact to try to get an answer to a very specific question. So if that is the case, shoot me an email at info@vrgamerankings.com. Also, if you happen to be a VR arcade owner, especially if you are in the state of California, I would like to ask a number of questions to any VR arcade owner that is operating in the United States. And if you're operating in California, that's even more huge, because it would be more specific to the laws that I would have to deal with here in California. It's something I'm interested in on the side. Once again, shoot me an email at info@vrgamerankings.com. I would love to ask a few questions. Maybe we could hop on Skype real quick and just have a quick little chat. It could provide invaluable information that I'd be very interested in, but, you know, definitely off topic right there. So anyway, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it. This has been the midweek VR special, or whatever the hell I called it at the beginning of the episode. I don't even remember. Once again, I do plan to try to provide at least 3 videos per week, and I really don't want to have 3 days of nothing, so I had to bang this puppy out. So that's pretty much what this was all about. And so you'll probably see another video on Saturday, I guess, because that will be the next day where I gotta bang another video out by Saturday. That's the schedule that I'm on right now. So maybe the week recap on Saturday, or maybe something completely different. I have no idea. But that's going to go ahead and do it. I will see everybody next time. Take it easy. Later.